having knowledge of grammar and punctuation, having an awareness of world events, dressing properly, working diligently, and being punctual and efficient are important qualities. If you are considering a career as a court reporter or real-time reporter, you have started in the right place. You are attempting to gather all the information you can about the profession so that you can make an informed decision. After you have read over the information contained in this book, your future is up to you. Only you can decide whether reporting is for you. We hope that you will decide this because there is a shortage of good, competent court reporters. As long as court reporters can furnish quick, reliable, accurate, and dependable service and save consumers time and money, the future of the court reporting profession is secure. Guys, that couldn't be more true, okay? And if you ever notice, and I tell you guys about going to the meetings, the BCCRA meetings, and I know that, you know, some of you guys come to night school, most of you guys, you know, they're here tonight, come to night school or whatever, but those meetings are important. And we tell you about them because they are that important. You know, it's making contact with people that are in the profession and have been there and done that and have a wealth of information to give. You know, and the way that I tell you to do it may not be the best way for you. You know, the way that I got through school and the way that I practiced may not work for you. And I'm not saying it works for everyone. You know, I'm telling you what some of the stories that it took me to get through school. You know, but you know, maybe someone else did it differently. And you know what? That way works better for you. That's great. Well, guess what? You're not going to know that unless you start getting yourself out there, introducing yourself to people, and finding out this information. And these guys are willing to help you guys anytime. Anytime, I promise you. And they'll go out of their way to help you guys. You know, and because we need you guys as much as y'all need us. You know, we need you guys to carry on what we're doing now. Because if we don't, then the profession of court reporting is going to die. And recorders are going to take over. They're not going to have a choice but to take over. They don't take over now because we have enough court reporters to do what we need to do. And we present an accurate, professional record of what we do. And as long as we keep doing that, our profession is safe. But the second that we don't, our profession is going to be in trouble. And you know, you hear about states all the time that are going to recording because they don't have people to fill positions that are becoming empty because people are retiring, or people die, or people get fired, or whatever. You know, and no, there aren't people to fill these positions. And it happens, guys. It happens. And you know, here in Bexar County, you know, we're really lucky because you know, the money that we make here is actually it's very good. It's very good. So whenever positions come open, especially at the courthouse, I mean, you'll have a lot of people from different cities that come and apply for these jobs. And these are jobs that could be yours, you know? And these are great jobs, but people are willing to move to uproot their family from maybe the Dallas area, maybe El Paso, maybe down in the valley, because these jobs are that good, you know? So if you want to stay here, it's great. But there's jobs, you know, in Dallas, and there's jobs in the valley, and there's jobs in El Paso or Corpus or Houston, you know, that when you get out, you know, hey, look, there's a job opening at a court in Houston, and if I get that job, I'm ready to go. You know, and I was lucky. Whenever I got out of school, I had 5 job opportunities. 3 with firms here in town, a court in Brownsville, and one of the firms in Houston. To me, Brownsville wasn't an option. I didn't want to go to Brownsville. I just didn't want to go personally. This was back in 92. And it was working in a court down in Brownsville. And back in 92, I think the starting salary at that time was $78,000 in 92. So can you imagine what it is now? I mean, with just, even if you do a cost of living, just from 92 and just do a cost of living from there. What they're making now. So if you're willing to move, I mean, there's all kinds of options, all kinds, and regardless of where you want to go. But if you want to stay here, then what you need to do, and what I would suggest you do, is start coming to those meetings and start getting your name out and let people recognize your face and stuff like that. So that when it does come time, when it comes down between you and a reporter from Waxahachie, it's like, oh yeah, she's the girl or the guy that used to come to the meetings that I met. You know what? I'm going to go with someone local. And it could come down to just that. So you don't want to burn it as well, she's from here, but I've never met her. I don't know. I have no idea who he or she is. And I don't know, this person from Waxahachie has 2 more years experience than he or she does. I'm just going to go with the person from Waxahachie. And you lost that thing because they had no idea who you were. So it's important, okay? Okay, some of the facts, about it. The initial cost of education to enter the field is relatively low when compared to other professions, and it is. I mean, you take my judge, for instance, his daughter just started at SMU this semester. She just graduated, got a scholarship to SMU. Well, SMU, if you know anything about it, is a private school. It's $60,000 a year. A year. I don't know that you'll spend $60,000 total coming to court reporting school, So, I mean, it all depends on what you want to do. So when you think about court reporting, it is kind of relatively low. When you think about the cost and whatever and what you're doing, and the money that you have, the opportunity to make. So, it's not that high. Reporting can be very exciting and fascinating work. It really can be, guys. I mean, it all depends on, which side you go into. I mean, and I've been on both sides. I've taken depositions in Mexico, not New Mexico, Mexico. And they paid for my airfare, they paid for lunch, dinner, everything. And I got to see some of Mexico that I probably never would have, taking depositions. And if you, get on with somebody, I mean, you can talk to some of the reporters. And I'm going to have some of the reporters come in and teach some of the chapters that we're doing, just because I think they have a wealth of more information than I would probably have on some of this stuff. And you can ask them about some of the things that they've done. Some of the reporters have gone to New York for a week and taken depositions. And they may take depositions for 2 days, and then they say, you know what, we have to go to court, tomorrow to figure some stuff out or whatever. So you have the whole day off. So you're getting everything paid for or whatever, and you get to see New York for a day and, do whatever. And then the next day you go back and start taking depositions for another 2 days or 3 days, however long you're there. So, I mean, you get to travel, do some stuff. It's exciting. I mean, it's a great profession, and you get to see and do a lot of things that, you probably wouldn't have. And like I said, I'm not making fun of those guys, but flipping a burger somewhere, The profession of reporting is one of the few professions that does not discriminate, and it really doesn't, guys. You don't have to be the smartest cat. You don't have, to be able to launch rockets from NASA to be able to do this. It takes the most dedicated person is what it takes. It doesn't take, it doesn't know black, white, brown, religion, anything. As long as you have the dedication to do it, that's all it takes, okay? So it doesn't discriminate against anyone. We have a student here that's considered or was legally blind. Legally blind. And this guy was doing it and did it, got to the end. So, I mean, it doesn't discriminate against anyone, and whether you're, paraplegic, I mean, maybe you're in a wheelchair or something like that, or, something, it doesn't discriminate against anyone. It doesn't. All it takes is dedication. That's it. You know, and you have to be willing to go that extra mile. That's what it takes. Court reporting is not a routine job. It really isn't. And even as routine as my job kind of is, because I go to the same place every day, I sit in the same place every day, I sit with the same judge, bailiff, clerk every day, we hear something different every day. And yeah, it has to do with child abuse and whatever, but it's something different every day. And every day, you know, we'll hear something, it's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that. It's like, you know what, I've heard it all. Nothing's gonna cease to amaze me now, and every day I'm amazed. You know, and you get to meet some great people. You meet, you know, very professional people. You meet, you know, psychologists, doctors, police officers, caseworkers, you know, people from the community that come in and testify about, you know, jobs. I mean, about, you know, something that they have to come in and testify about. So you get to meet all kinds of people all the time. You know, so it's never a routine job, and especially if you're taking depositions, you have no idea where you're going. You know, I've taken a deposition in a warehouse one time because they wanted to, you know, to use the warehouse as part of, it was in litigation. So we were in a warehouse. So you're not always like in a law firm setting or in a, you know, building with a really nice, you never know where you're going to be. Absolutely. So it's pretty cool. Not all reporting involves intriguing cases of murder and rape. It doesn't. You know, sometimes you're going to have a slip and fall in HEB. Some guy or girl was walking through HEB through the grape aisle and right there by the produce and slipped on a grape and threw, you know, one of the disc out. You know, or a car accident, or a dispute about a contract. Anything. I mean, about a will. Somebody died and had millions of dollars and died without a will. You know, and the family is fighting over all of this stuff because, you know, he or she didn't leave a will, but had millions of dollars worth of, you know, assets. So, I mean, you never know. I mean, you could do juvenile stuff, you know, probate, civil stuff, criminal stuff. So you have no idea what you're going to get. The schooling to become a court reporter can be very demanding. You guys know that. You're already there. I mean, you know how demanding it is. And you know what it takes, and whether you do it or not, I mean, it's up to you, but you know exactly what it takes. You know, and I'm telling you guys, this is going to be the most demanding thing that you've ever done. And I've always told, you know, just about all of my students, you know, if you think that you're going to come to school and that you're going to do what we tell you to do in school and that's it, you're probably going to be here a little while, if you make it through. It's not the type of thing where you can just come to class and participate and eventually I'll get out. Probably not. Maybe you are that 0.5%. I don't even know that it's that high. Maybe, but I mean, maybe you are. I don't. For the average person, it's not. I can tell you it's not. And it's going to be the most demanding thing that you ever do, but it's the most rewarding thing that you will ever do. Okay? Believe that. And this couldn't be more true. The reasons for a high dropout rate are many. Lack of motivation on the part of the student, lack of discipline, getting sidetracked into other areas, and personal problems. So that's why I tell you, when you come to class, you come ready to do this. Not, what am I going to do with that tire that blew out on the way over here? Not, you know, what am I going to cook for dinner? Not, well, you know, my son or daughter has an hour of homework that I'm going to have to do, blah, blah, blah. When you get in here, this is your time. This is court reporting time. And you bring it every day. and you bring it for however long that you need to every day when you step in this courtroom. You know, and you give it your all every day. And then you go home and you do what you need to. And you practice your 30 minutes, 45 minutes. And I'd say, you know, I mean, that's what I used to do. There towards the end, I was practicing a lot more, but I used to practice, you know, and the thing to me about practicing, and I don't want to get sidetracked too much, but, you know, make sure that you're getting good practice, okay? That is important. You're like, well, what is good practice? You know, you want to sit there and brag that you were on that machine for 3 hours. I don't really care. You know, you sat there and got 20 minutes worth of good practice, and for the other 2 hours and 40 minutes, you just slapped those keys around, having no idea what you were doing. Not good. You always want to make sure that you're getting good practice, good clean strokes, and not that you're going to get everything. You know, it's not about getting everything, you know, now, but it's getting the majority of it and working hard and making sure that you're getting good strokes and whatever. And when you feel to the point that you're not, then stop. You know, it may be 20 minutes, maybe 30 minutes, maybe an hour. But if it's only 20 minutes, like, oh my gosh, you know, I just have too much on my mind. You know what, get up. Go have dinner, go have a snack, maybe watch TV for 30 minutes, come back. And, you know, sometimes that's what it takes. It's just, you know, getting in the right frame of mind, coming back and saying, you know what, now it's time to get to work. Now I'm ready. And then you can practice for 30 minutes, 45 minutes, and even if it's another 20 minutes of good practice, as long as it's good practice, okay? Fact 7, reporters can earn good money. However, only the competent reporters who work hard will earn high incomes. Avoid assuming that you are going to graduate from a court reporting school and immediately begin to make more money than a lawyer or judge. As in every profession, you must first prove yourself. If you are good at what you do, attorneys will request your services. If you are a good, competent reporter, you are going to be very busy. If you are mediocre, you will not be busy and will not be respected by others in the profession. Guys, that's what I've been talking about pretty much this whole chapter. And that's pretty much what it covers. From everything, from your attitude, to your dress, to your work ethic, all of that signifies who you are, and people see that, okay? So you always want to present yourself well. And that's what this is talking about. And the more and the better that you present yourself, people see that you do good work, they're going to request you all the time. Like when I was out, I started working for a firm, and they never used to call us for court because the lady that had the court reporting firm didn't really want to go down there. You know, they just kind of saw it as, you know, whatever. Well, at the time, this was back in '92, it was $250 a day. So whether you went down there, set up your machine, and never wrote one thing, you made $250 in a day. And whether you went into my court now and wrote 6 hours, you made $250 in a day. You add that up, 250 times 5, and say they call you for the whole week because that reporter's going to be out for that whole week. You add it up. That's pretty good money. What is that, $12.50? $12.50 for a week's worth of work. And maybe you went there and they had docket one day and you worked for 3 hours in one day in a whole week. You still make the same. Or maybe you went and you wrote every day in my court, you know, like going to my court, or maybe they were in trial and you wrote 6 hours every day. So you wrote 30 hours that week. You made the same amount of money. But guess what? Now they're going to appeal that case because they didn't get the verdict that they wanted. But now you just made that much more money. You think of 30 hours at maybe 50 pages. That's a lot of pages. And you know, whatever, you know, the going rate is now, you know, $5, $5.50, $6 a page, you add it up for 1 week. 1 week of work. So, don't always think that, oh man, I don't want to go to that or wherever, Well, nobody wanted to do it. I did. I didn't care. It was money to me. So once I got down there, I was always, and if y'all know me, I like to joke around a lot. So I get along with people, pretty easily, and I've just always, I think, presented well. I can get along with anyone pretty much, and one of the judges saw that. So she called down there to the lady that calls for fill-ins, and she said, you know what, every time my reporter's out, I want that guy to come. He's always on time, he always has a great attitude, and he does a good job. And I got on the wheel, and every time somebody was gone, she could call me, and she knew that within 30 minutes I could be down there, and I was ready to go. And it just helped me. So presenting, it all depends on what you want to do. The money is there. The money is there for you to make, and however hard you want to work, and fortunately, unfortunately, in the freelance business, if you don't want to work that day, you just tell them, hey, take me off the books. You have that luxury. You're an independent contractor, so it's like, and if they're not real busy, more than likely they'll say, yeah, we'll put you at the end, and you can have the day off. And that was one of the luxuries about being a freelance reporter. It's like, you know what? I want to sleep till 11 o'clock. Okay. But I work till 4 in the morning because I'm more of a night person. Or you want to wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning. It's like, you know what? I'm ready to go. And, I'm first on call, but I've got stuff to work on. Let's start working. When you start working and, they call you at 3:30, nothing else is going to call in, you're done. You know what? I'm done working for the day. 3:30, you're done. You do whatever you want. So you have that luxury. It all depends on what you want to do. I decided that court was for me. And that's because I feel like I'm a pretty disciplined person, but I need structure, if that makes sense. If that makes sense? I need to know, you know what, I'm going here every day. And I need to know that this is going to happen. And that I'm going to be making at least this much money a month. That's what worked for me. And it may not work for you. You know what? You may like the luxury of, you know what? I don't want to work today. I want to sleep till noon. Do it. It's up to you. But as an independent contractor, you don't work, you don't get paid. So, I'd be careful on those days of sleeping till noon. But it affords you the luxury to do that, if you want to. So, and y'all can kind of go through some of the frequently asked questions.